New World, Amazon's first MMO that is being built on the Lumberyard engine. Now, if you haven't heard by now, it's finally in closed beta, and the game has its ups and its downs, and its controversies, and a lot of bugs. It is set to be released by August, but is that too soon? Let's take a look and see what's up with Amazon New World. Okay, so let's look at the beta and what it does right and where it needs improvement. It's going to need some improvement. So what it does right, crafting. Crafting by far is my favorite thing to do in Amazon New World. They have people doing PvP, PvE, and here I am crafting and waking up my little girl. Crafting by far for me is some of the most fun that I've had in the game. I've run into the least amount of bugs when I'm crafting, and I seem to have the most fun. Now there are times where it just says crafting failed. It'll just spin for a little bit, say crafting failed, and you're like, why did crafting fail? I'm making a very low rated item, so I'm just saying it's it's really no reason. I think it's just a bug, but that's one of the few bugs I've seen with it. But it does let you bulk create crafting materials, and that is the thing that I see the error pop up on. But usually when you're bulk crafting items, you'll say, okay, let's make 150 something linen. And once you hit go, it'll just spin up for a little bit, and then bam, it comes out and says, okay, here's all the linen you made, and you made a little extra. Cool. So that's absolutely fantastic. That you don't have to wait and just see it go like in World of Warcraft. You made one, two, three, four, and I'm like, I'm making 100 of these. Guild Wars 2, you do that and it speeds up as it goes, which is really great. You don't have to sit back and wait for it. I love that. So I think New World actually does it better than Guild Wars 2 and World of Warcraft. Now, when you're crafting weapons and armor, it's a little different. It doesn't just kind of bundle it all into one big 100 and something. Say you wanted to make 50 swords. It's going to go and make the 50 swords one by one, and it's going to pop up on the screen really quickly, show you the stat for that weapon, and then drop off and go to the next one. And you may create some that are common, uncommon. I've made accidentally some named weapons in the process, just trying to get my skill up, and it's really nice. It's a really nice system to be able to see it, and then at the end, it'll list them all based by not combat score, listed by gear score from top to bottom. So the top is the best gear score all the way down to the bottom, and you can then choose if you want to keep the item, equip the item, or salvage the item and then get back some coin and some repair parts. So a lot of times I'll end up scrapping everything except for the one that I'm going to use, because there's no NPCs that you can sell things to. Still, I know what they're pushing for. They want us to use the auction house. I don't want to use the auction house. I just want to sell it to an NPC, get a few coins. Nothing wrong with that, you know? Give us some NPCs. Anyhow, that system there has allowed me to really go through and, customize my character a bit. They have some armors that give you same effects, just different looks, which is really nice. So not everybody's running around with the same exact outfit on. I did see some problems with the robe. The robe has a hood, and the hood you can wear a hat with at the same time, and the hat clips through the robe. So that's a thing, and it looks really funny. I was gonna leave it, but my other armor was better. So the armoring system, weapon making system, they both are their own skills. You have weapon smithing and armor smithing, and the light armor smithing is also lifts your regular heavy armor smithing up at the same time. So it's a lot easier what people are doing, just to grab a bunch of linen and then get your light armor crafting way high, and then go back and make your higher heavy armor, because that is a lot more efficient when it comes to your time. So that leads me into harvesting. I actually enjoy harvesting. I enjoy it. I've been going around harvesting all the ores, all of the hemp, so I can make the linen, and I've been harvesting all of the food items. So basically, just running around harvesting everything I can harvest, getting my skill up, trees, whatever. And I do this because as you raise your skill up, it gives you ability to track all the items in your compass, which is really nice because it's just at the top of your screen. So now as you swivel around, you can see the closest items. And so I can run and then just look for the sign for hemp. And I just got to run around and find hemp. And it's that easy. I don't have to sit back and where am I going to go for hemp and have to memorize areas. It may pop up here, it may pop up there, but I'm going to be in the general area and it'll show me and I can just kind of guide myself to it. This is really, really nice. So you can end up tracking prey, so your turkeys, boars, wolves, things like that. You can end up tracking hemp, ores. I'm up to gold. I can track. I can track gold, oil, iron ore. It's pretty nice, and I can track a lot of the different foods. So it's really nice to have that in your compass. Absolutely beautiful addition, and I commend them on that, which is why it makes it so much fun, especially for the other thing, cooking, which is a lot of fun because you can sit back and make the different subset of ingredients and then go back and make the bigger dish from those ingredients, and you can swap out different materials so you can get so you can continue to make it, and you may or may not get better effects from it. Like in weaponsmithing and armor smithing, you can swap out leather with rugged leather and just get a better effect out of it, or you can swap out iron with steel and you'll now have a better armor or better weapon. So there's a lot of different things you can do to make things, mix it up and make things based on what you have and make it a bit better. And you can equip now 3 foods I'm at, so I can have 3 different food types in there and they don't just sit in my inventory, which is really nice. It does, weigh you down your armor set. So right now I'm light armor, so I try to stay in the light armor zone. I do sometimes tank in light armor just because I'm able to use a shield really well, but that's just a pat on my own back. That generally is why I think crafting is probably one of the best aspects of the game right now. It's really well done. It has a good mix of things to do. And you can even sit back and fish if you're just bored. You can fish, and I can do that one-handed. So if I have my little girl in my arms, I can sit back and just fish. And I can just do it just all with a click of the button. And so it definitely is something that I think if they're going to improve on it, maybe a bigger backpack, because I absolutely love it. And I do know there's backpacks in the game. I just haven't crafted one yet because you have to grind out the, the little something of holding, and you have to use that in a backpack. Why can't I just make a backpack out of leather? I don't need a little rune of holding. I don't understand. I just want a backpack, okay? So next up in the things that it gets right is combat areas. Now, combat itself can be a little boring. I'll talk about that later on. But combat itself, when you're doing it in an area with other people, as I can sit back and run into an area and instantly start attacking mobs. If there's anyone else in that area, they're already attacking the mob, I can attack the mob too. I can get some experience as well and level up my weapon skill. So, that being said, that other person will also get experience and their weapon skill as well. Fantastic. Now, if I see people down, I can go and revive them. I'm a healer. I play a healer in the game. I can also go and heal random people because I have an area effect healing that I can just drop down a little sphere that goes and heals everybody right there. So if I drop one down on a group of people, they'll all get healed up, and I can sit back and just heal from a distance and try to keep everybody alive. And as I attack, if my attack goes through them, it does a little splash, and that splash will heal them as well. So it kind of adds a bit more versatility to your healer, because I don't need to be in the same group as them, but I can heal them. I don't use the single target healing as much as the global healing because I like that little area effect of healing, and people know they can run there. And I do sometimes use it on myself. I just put down a little healing area, and that little sanctuary bubble will keep me healed up, and at the same time I can attack them. And if they hit me, it usually heals me up all the way full. So is healing overpowered right now? A little bit. The armor is not locked. So if I'm a healer, I can wear heavy armor. I can I can actually customize that armor to give me focus and then wear it and now have a heavy armor set. I can't dodge as well because the heavier your armor gets, the less you can dodge. I can't roll, but I can jump back. But usually I'm blocking because I can block really well. So I use it with block anyway. So right now I'm in light armor only because I wanted to be able to carry more. But heavy armor definitely seems to win me over because I can heal myself and I can take the damage, which is really fantastic. Especially when I go into tank mode because I'll pull out my shield and then it's game on. I do like the classless skills. If you have a weapon, since they're weapon lock skills, not class based skills, you can actually grab whatever weapon and you can use whatever skill that you got unlocked for that weapon. They do need more weapons if they're going to do this, but it does work really well. It's just like kind of like Guild Wars 2, where you can grab a weapon and use it, except for they don't lock it to a specific class. I really like that because I just got done playing World of Warcraft Ascension on the Ascension server, which is just a private server, and I really enjoyed it because there's no classes in there. You can use any weapon, you can use any skill from any set, and you can customize and create your own little specific, really nice character. And I had a lot of fun on there. So that being said, I really enjoyed that. I was like, hey, this classes thing, that's where it's at. So, lock it to the weapons. That's perfect. You're not going to see me doing an overhead smash with a staff because it's not going to be as effective as that two-handed mace or axe. But, you have those skills. You can use it locked to that weapon, but give me more weapons. Right now, there's like the staff, the hatchet, the sword and shield, the axe, the mace, fire staff, ice glove, life staff, the bow and arrow, and muskets. Oh, the spear too. I almost forgot the spear. I think there's some space in there for some additional weapons or some additional skills where they can actually make it a little bit more versatile. Maybe some different attacks, because right now, like the life staff, you do range damage, but they don't really have it, so you can't like bonk it someone on the head with it. It would be nice to have some different moves, some actual physical moves with some of these other weapons that are magical, like the ice glove. Be nice to have like you do an ice punch. That would be freaking awesome. You punch someone and you freeze them, and then all of a sudden you turn into Sub-Zero or something. I don't know. I'm thinking here. I'm giving you guys ideas. So things that I'm neutral on. The voice acting is okay. I feel like it's closed beta, so they get a pass on the voice acting. The story and lore seems to be there, but I think if they focus more on the story and the lore, the game would actually be really, really nice. Get some more voice actors in, get some more cutscenes. They start off really well with this awesome cut screen. Then you don't see much of that anymore. Give us some more cut screens. Show us what's going on in this world. Show us what's happening. And have us get pulled into the lore. World of Warcraft does this really well. They pull you into the lore. And I feel like this game has the possibilities to do it. They're just not capitalizing on it. Another thing I'm neutral on is the travel time. It does take a lot of time to travel sometimes. I'm going from point A to point B. Sure, I can just harvest on my way there, but sometimes I just want to get in and back. I have a limited amount of time sometimes to get in and back, get the mission done, log out. Now, you can't do that because there's a lot of travel time sometimes. Some people say it's fine, you can just use the warp. There is a fast travel system, yes, but it uses Asimov, and I use Asimov for crafting to get special effects on my gear. For I get a higher chance to have special effects on my gear. Asimov is key for that. So I don't want to use my Asimov for that for fast travel. I want to use it on my gear. So you're kind of having me balance this out. And I'm like, no, I want to use my Asimov for crafting. That's what I enjoy in the game. Don't force me to use it for fast travel. And either that or just walk back. Or I can wait an hour and go back to the inn. I'm still at the first town. Why? Because all of my materials are there. And the second town has better stations. You see where I'm at. This is the problem. I want to use my Asimov differently than what they want me to use it for. Or I can just balance that out. And people are going to say, whatever, you'll get plenty of Asimov, but that's not always true. So I think when the game goes live, they're going to have to do something that I think is going to be controversial to a lot of players right now, because there's a lot. This is like the number one debate I'm seeing in the game, other than the PvP stuff. Mounts. I feel there should be mounts. That's my personal opinion. You can have a different opinion, and we can both live together happily. But in my personal opinion, there should be mounts. I'll go into later how they can implement that. But I feel there should be mounts because it would add so much if you do it the right way. Again, I'll go into this in a little bit, but hang tight and let me go on to the next thing that I find is neutral. Campfires. I don't need to see everyone's campfires. If I go near a town, sometimes, especially when the game first launched, there was a sea of campfires, and I could literally barely run because they have colliders, so I'm bouncing off all these little campfires. You don't take any damage, but it's just annoying because you can only put your campfire in certain areas, and if you put your campfire anywhere else, it'll be red until it turns white, and boom, you can put it there. But usually it has to be in a flat area that's away from the town and away from any point of interest. So that usually ends up being in the path that you run in. Okay, cool, but I want those off to the side. They shouldn't be allowed in their walkway. Make a nice flat area somewhere else, or allow it in uneven terrain just by raising and lowering or putting the campfire at an angle to match the terrain. So this brings us to where I think the game falls short. And since we just finished talking about it, I think the campfires should be toggleable. If I don't want to see anyone else's campfire, I should be able to toggle it and not see anyone else's campfire. Boom. Easy fix. Bugs. Ooh. Oh, baby, don't get me started. I fell through a mountain. Right through a mountain. I went to go attack an enemy and fell through a mountain. I didn't take any damage, but I fell through a mountain. And then the enemy came to attack me, and it fell through the mountain. And I never saw that enemy again. I managed to work my way out of the mountain, so I didn't get stuck. And I was like, what just happened? Unfortunately, I wasn't recording it, but I fell through a mountain. And I am still confused about that one to this day. Some of the ores don't show textures 360, so they'll show it on this face, and then when you get around to that 270 degree mark, there's no texture there. It's empty, it's gone. Some mobs are not spawning sometimes. It's been fixed, but it definitely happened. and sometimes it still happens, but you see a lot less of it. Some mobs are dying and staying upright. You kill them and they just stand there. You can't loot them. They can't be harvested. They just stand there until they fade off or respawn. Some trees, some dead trees, their colliders are there, but there's no textures. So you just be running and you just be like, why can I not move? It's an invisible wall, but no. It's actually was just the collider, but that has been supposedly fixed, and hopefully we won't see that again. The AI sometimes is non-responsive. I have been able to kill several enemies, and they literally have just stood there and let me kill them. They did not react, did not attack me. They just kind of, all right, cool, bro, cool story. All right then. I was like, what's going on here? And so I killed the enemy anyway and I harvested it. So, and then sometimes just the opposite happens. The AI mob train. Come on, guys. So this is how this goes down. Someone else is attacking a mob here. You attack a mob on the far side. For some reason, that mob will ignore you and go to attack the other guy. Problem is, on his way there, he then aggroes multiple mobs, and now this poor guy over here has 8, 9, 10 mobs running at him at the same time, clearing out the entire area. So he turns tail and runs, which then gets more mobs, and all of a sudden you feel like you're back in EverQuest with a train. Toot toot, running behind you, and that can be horrifying. I have run into this before, and it actually happened to me once, and I was the cause of it on another person before. I helped them eliminate all the enemies, but still, it happens, and it needs to be something that they need to correct. There are several text misspellings. I think my favorite one is for the robe, and instead of element, it's element. Element. And I thought it was just absolutely hilarious. Go through the text, put a spell checker in there, make sure it's all right, people. And then, of course, the thing that's not so fun. As I jumped into game one day, I see this delightful thing of a guy saying, does this mean I can finally say the N-word? And me going, I wonder what he's talking about. And yes, he is talking about that N-word. And people were just egging him on. Yeah, this is not what you want to see in a game. Now, there is a chat filter that will put stars instead, but people have found clever ways around that. So they really need to work on their chat filter. You can't fix people, but you can fix your filter. And then I feel as a PvE player that the PvP, of course, is going to get more focus because the game was basically built on PvP between your three factions. And for now, we're just going to call them green, purple, and yellow. And on the server I'm on, there's a lot of purple hate. Don't hate, congregate. But I have my chat window full of people talking about they were ganked, they were fishing, someone attacked them, people ranting about mismatched battles, 1v1 me, why'd you have 3v1, oh my god. I don't care. You know, if they're going to PvP, give them a PvP channel. Let us PvEers have our own channel. We don't need to see all this. We don't care. Oh no, you were ganked? And yes, I've seen another purple player get beat up right in front of me, and you know what? I'm fishing, and I'm a PvE player. I don't care. You play the way you play, I'm gonna play the way I play, and we're not gonna meet in between. Oops, you got beat up. Oops, you got 3v1'd. That's not my problem. That's not how I play the game. Usually I have my little girl in my arms, and I have an arm and a half to play with, so I'm not going to be good at PvP anyway. So it's not really my thing, and I don't want to see it all. Missions, the game will send you on missions back and forth to the same place over and over again, and it gets old. Why am I going to the same place 5 or 6 times? Hey, we need another navigation compass. Hey, last time I looted 10 of these dang things, and you only wanted one. Why can't I just stockpile these dang things and give them to you then? No, I have to go all the way back out there and get another one, and I'll get 10. Come on, look. You don't need all these. You don't need all these navigation compasses. You don't. There's lodestone everywhere. Just go make your own. Why can't we just hunt down lodestone? Fix the missions. We don't want to go back to the same place over and over again. There needs to be variety. So that brings me to my final score for the closed beta so far. And I give it actually a 6 out of 10. Now, I was going to say 7 out of 10, which is a pretty neutral score. I think the game does pretty well, but there are several things that kind of make me not load it up sometimes, and some things that make me want to just jump back in and play some more. The number one thing, of course, is the chat filter. We don't need to be seeing people wanting to say the N-word or yelling at each other. 1v1 me, son. I don't care. I don't care. Fix the filter. We need more channels. I don't want to see it all. I don't need to be seeing people saying the N-word or chewing each other out or talking about, they did more damage to another person before they... I don't care. Don't care. I'm sorry. I don't. I just want to play the game. Bugs. It's closed beta. There's going to be bugs, but that's what hits the most. I give it -2 for bugs because some of these bugs have been around since alpha, and I think they really need to be fixed. The AI needs to be fixed before this goes live. That is going to be key. Travel time, yes, I said I was going to mention this. It gets a -1 because I feel like it could be done better. You have this new world that you're going to, and let's be honest, as people traveled back then, they brought mounts with them. You cannot tell me that they built this entire environment, that they built these towns, these giant structures, all this was built without any beast of burden. And I would refuse to believe you. They did it with magic, okay, but we don't have that magic. I can't make things float. And if I could float, I'd float myself over the trees to the next place. So, come on. There needs to be some type of beast of burden. Mounts, bulls. I mean, come on. They have... I'd ride a pig if I could in the game. There needs to be something. So, I started kind of spitballing how they could do this mount thing. So, hear me out. For people that hate mounts, hear me out, and let's see if this is an idea you can go with. So, to make it viable, you can make it, number one, make it so as you dismount, only you can see your mount, which would be really nice because there's going to be a ton of mounts in the game afterwards. I don't need to see everyone else's mounts, just like I don't need to see everyone else's campfires. Second, make it so you can call your horse with a whistle. So it's like a proximity thing. So if I see my horse in the distance, I'm over here getting some water, and I get weighed down, my horse can have extra storage on it via the saddle. So I can call my horse over, put the water in the saddle, and now I'm offloaded a bit, and I can walk around. And have the horse have its own weight limit. So that way, if I'm harvesting things, I can use its backpack as well. And from there, you can add in horse combat. It'd be really cool. Just add in some skills for each weapon that can be used on horse combat. So if you're riding on a horse, make it so you can shoot at each other from a horse, or from bow and arrow, or magic, or swing your sword. You have sword combat on a horse. You know how much that would add to the game? Especially for PvPers, they would probably love that, to be able to actually have combat while on a horse. Add in horseback skills. Things like sprint, courage, spook, exhaustion, happiness. So things like that, like your happiness can be boosted by being sure you maintain and feed your horse. Exhaustion, of course, if you ride your horse too much, too fast, you keep sprinting over and over again, the horse is going to get tired. It's going to need water to then build back up. So then it's no longer exhausted. So it can be like a little meter. So now your exhaustion's too high, your horse needs a rest break. It needs to just trot and drink some water, and then it can rush again. It can sprint again. Courage to combat spook, so people can spook you off your horse. And of course, vice versa, courage to combat being spooked off your horse. Add in horse maintenance and stall, like maintenance, stalls, and you can do this in towns and houses. That would be great because now it gives you more of a contact. It gives you more to do with your horse. So as you maintain your horse is able to do things like carry extra, or it's able to run for longer times if your horse is well fed. Things like that, where you maintain your horse. You have to give it new shoes. Shoes can increase the speed. Things like that, or your carry capacity. There's a number of things you can add that would make that viable. Add in methods to force dismount other PvPers that can be countered with their riding skill. Again, that goes from spook and courage, so you can counter it. So, like say you can throw fireworks or shoot around the horse, and that will cause the horse to buck and throw the person off their mount. That could work. And the courage of the horse combats it. So if the person's well maintaining their horse, then and building up that horse's courage, that's going to cause the horse to trust that player more. So they're going to trust that player and be less likely to be spooked. And of course, lastly, add in time sensitive delivery missions that are, some are PvE and some are PvP. That would add in more things to do with horses, and that would also be pretty sweet, especially like track down missions. Like say you have this other NPC or mob that's on horseback, or it's like a group of them on horseback, and you need to now track them down and attack them, but they stay mounted, or you can try to spook them off their mounts, or you can just kill them on their mounts and then take their mounts and take the mounts back to the city. And then now that adds more mounts to the city to be able to sell back. That would be cool. And for the love of God, add in some NPCs that buy things. Just come on. Add them in. Please. But yeah, that's my final take on the closed beta. 6 out of 10. Not bad. It's a good start. I feel this game has such potential that it could take off. But they really need to focus on getting those bugs down. If they add in horses, check out some of those ideas. I think they'd be really awesome. You don't even have to give me, just name a horse after me. The Billy Steed. It's called the Billy. It is just meant for carrying heavy materials. It's not a fast steed, but it can carry heavy stuff. It's a pretty good steed. I'm not a stud, I'm a steed now. Oh god. But I feel this game can get it done. I don't know if August is too aggressive. I feel it might be overly aggressive, but hopefully they can get it done. But for now, I'm gonna get on out of here. If you like what you're seeing, hit that like button, drop me in a comment. Let me know what you think about Amazon New World and your experience in the closed beta. What do you think about the idea with horses? Think it could work? Until then, I'll catch you in the next one. It's been your boy Jatwan. I'm out. Peace.